Today we're going to be discussing about solving quadratic equation by factoring. You all know at this point how to factor, but I will give some examples where we will be able to review again how to do factoring. So once again, for us to be able to factor this trinomial, we need to multiply the coefficient of x squared, which is a 1, with the negative 15. And we are going to have a negative 15. We're going to think of all the factors of negative 15, but at this point, we will go straight to the factors of negative 15. That is going to give us a positive 2. And that is very good. You got it. Positive 5 times negative 3. These are the factors of negative 15 that's going to, when added, can give us a positive 2. And so now we're going to rewrite this by x squared plus, we're going to use these factors, 5x minus 3x. That's in place of the positive 2x. And then we're going to rewrite the negative 15. We are now going to group them. Negative parentheses, all of these signs will change, and so it's going to become 3x plus 15. This will all be, by the way, these are all equal to 0. Okay. I apologize for this crowded spot right here. So now we are going to take out the common monomial factor that is common to x squared and 5x, which is x. That's going to be x plus 5 minus common monomial, greatest common monomial is 3. Greatest common factor, is 3. And that's x plus 5. So now our factors are x plus 5, parentheses x minus 3. And again, they have 0. See, in solving quadratic equation, we're going to add another step to this. And solving means we're getting the x-intercept. So therefore, we're going to get this and equate it to 0. Okay? And we're going to get this and equate it to 0. And then we're going to solve. So now, this is x equals negative 5. This is our first solution. And this is now going to be x equals positive 3. This is our other solution. So that's how we solve. So our solutions are negative 5 and 3. Okay, so for our example number 2, we're going to use x squared minus 5x minus 14. And again, the first step is get the coefficient of x squared, which is a 1, multiply it by the c, which is negative 14, and we're going to have negative 14. By the way, that's equal to 0. What are the factors of negative 14 that will give us a negative 5 when added? All right, let's examine this. Very good. It's negative 7 times positive 2. Negative 7 times positive 2 is negative 14, but when added, will give us a negative 5. So let's use these factors. Let's rewrite this, x squared, that's a negative 7x, that is a plus 2x, rewrite negative 14 equals 0. And we are now going to group them. Plus parentheses, nothing will change inside the parentheses because the sign outside is positive, that's equal to 0. And then get the greatest common factor between these two terms, which is an x. X minus 7 is left inside, plus is copied down. The greatest common factor between 2x and negative 14 is a 2. So x minus 7 equals 0. So now this 2 is going to be taken out. So we will have x minus 7 and parentheses x plus 2 equals 0. So now we will begin the process of solving for the x-intercept of this quadratic equation. So we're going to divide this into two parts. So we will have x minus 7 equals 0, and we will have x plus 2 equals 0. So here x is positive 7. That is your first solution. And here x equals negative 2. That is your second solution. Therefore, your solutions are 7, negative 2. Alright, so example number 3 is 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So once again, step 1, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. We're going to think of the factors of negative 6 that when added will become a negative 5. So you're right. It is positive 1 times negative 6. Okay, so we are going to use this to solve for this trinomial. So let us begin. Copy this down. And negative 5x will now be replaced by this. By the way, these factors can actually be interchanged. You can write down plus 1x minus 6x, or you can write down negative 6x plus 1x. It won't matter. So we're just going to follow this. We will have plus 1x or x. That's fine. So negative 6x. And then copy this down, which is a negative 3 equals 0. So now we're going to group them. Minus is what's outside is negative or minus. All the signs inside must change. So this is going to become 6x, and then that's going to become a plus 3 equals 0. So now get the greatest common factor of 2x squared and 1x, which is an x. So that will be a 2x inside plus a 1. And then negative 3 is the greatest common factor between 6x and positive 3. So this is going to be 2x plus 1. And that will be equal to 0. And so this now is going to become 2x plus 1. And this is going to become x minus 3 equals 0. And now we begin the process of solving. We're done with factoring. So at this point, this is the point where we have factored them out. Now the next step is when we're solving. So divide this paper into two parts. So you'll have 2x plus 1 equals 0. And then you'll have x minus 3 equals 0. So here it's going to become 2x equals negative 1, because the 1 goes to the other side. We divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to negative 1 half. On this side, your x is equal to positive 3. That's just one step. So this is these are your factors. So the solution or the roots. I'm sorry, those are not factors. Those are solutions, okay? So the solutions or roots are negative 1 half, comma, 3. For our last example, we're going to use 6x squared minus 31x plus 35 equals 0. So again, the first step in factoring is to multiply the 6 and the 35. And 6 times 35, I believe, is 210. Okay, let's go straight to the factors of 210 that when added will give us a negative 31. And those are, I believe, negative 10 times negative 21. So we are going to use those factors to replace negative 31 by. So let's copy this down. And negative 10x. By the way, again, negative 10x and negative 21 can be interchanged. So minus 21x, and then you copy down your positive 35. That's equal to 0. We're going to start grouping 6x squared minus 10x. Group them together, and then minus parentheses 21x. So again, everything inside the sign will change. So this is a negative 35 equals 0. So now we are going to get the greatest common factor of 6x squared and negative 10x, which in this case is 2x. And what's left inside is 3x. That's a negative 5. And this is copied down, the minus. And you're going to take out 7 is the greatest common factor, and that's going to be 3x minus 5 equals 0. And so the factors are 3x minus 5 parentheses multiplied by 2x minus 7 equals 0. So those are your factors. We are not finished because we're going to get the solution. And the solutions are 3x minus 5, equate that to 0. 2x minus 7, equate that to 0, and solve for x. So now we have 3x equals positive 5 because 5 goes to the other side. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Our first solution is 5 over 3. And our next solution is negative 7 turns to positive 7 because it goes to the other side. Divide both sides by 2. So our x is 7 out of 2. Therefore, your solution or your roots are 5 out of 3, comma, 7 out of 2.